back, world, to another episode of the Hollywood Kippax podcast. I'm your co-host with the co-host, Alex Miller. Joined with me, as always, is Will Lopez. Will, how are you feeling post-op?
Whew. Oh man, the surgery went well. I'm in good spirits. They have me on medication that helps me get through the pain. But aside of that, man, I'm over the moon over today's guest today, dude.
It's the big
Today,
one, Will. It's
oh
the
man, this is gonna be a good one, fellas.
we've been trying to get this man on the podcast. He is a busy man in the world of city affairs, but we finally have him on today. So for those who are watching, uh, this man probably needs no introduction, but for our American audience who might be unfamiliar with him, he was one of the most notable fans in the Kippax.
Yep.
We're Hollywood Kippax. He is a journalist with his own YouTube show, The Big Steve Show, on YouTube, hosted by City Extra. His TV spots include BBC Sports and Talk Sports that overlap, featuring Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville.
Woo.
Join with us today is Mr. Big Steve.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for the introduction, fellas. Thank you.
Awesome.
So, Big Steve, dare I say, how's the weather in Manchester right now?
Do you know what? It's surprisingly warm today. It's been, I won't say warm to you guys, but warm to us. So, yeah, there's no rain, thank God. So, any day without rain in Manchester is a blessing. So, yeah, we're just appreciating a bit of sun.
So
There you go.
It's not grim up north. It's sunshiny. After yesterday's result, for sure, that was a monstrous performance. So we have a stacked episode for you guys. We'll be talking about the Wolves result yesterday, and then we'll be getting to other things about Big Steve and just the current state of affairs in the Man City fan base, and looking towards the future because the season's almost over. Womp womp. But so let's get into it. So, Big Steve, what did you think of yesterday's match?
Yeah, very good game. It's the business end of the season now, so it's the time where this Manchester City side start to get the results and pick up the points and crank the pressure on other teams. You know what I mean? We've gone toe-to-toe last few seasons with Liverpool, who kept us on our toes, but we fought them off and we did the business. And now we're going up against a very good Arsenal team who are not doing anything wrong. They're picking up results, they're scoring goals, they're keeping clean sheets. But, I said it before, this team, the mentality, the way Pep's got them drilled, the way the supporters are, us as fans, we're relaxed with it. And we just back in the team and we're going now to every game, get behind the squad, and hopefully we can bring home this fourth league title in a row.
Will, what were your thoughts on the match yesterday?
Oh man, Erling Haaland, dude. Erling Haaland. Holy crap. I expected a brace yesterday. We said it last episode. But 4 goals? Holy crap. He just shut all the haters up. I'm tired of hearing all the Erling Haaland slander online. Yesterday, he just set the example yesterday. You know what I mean? So it was beautiful to watch.
It's crazy the people are deluded. I think he set the bar so high last season, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything below that apparently is classed as a failure. He's had a couple of months of injuries. There was a slight period in the season where I don't think City were playing to his strengths. I feel like we wasn't giving him enough of the ball. But as you've seen against Nottingham Forest, they gave him the ball when he came on. He went toe-to-toe with a centre-back and he scored. Yesterday, they're crossing the ball in the box. He's attacking it. He scores a great header. And then Phil Foden looks up early. Long ball, puts Haaland one-on-one with the centre-back. There's only one winner. So I believe that he's the best number 9 in the world for me, but I believe we're getting an in-form Erling Haaland back at the perfect time to take us, to the title.
I mean, there's just another monstrous performance that Haaland is capable of. It's just like every now and then you'll get those like 4-goal games from him. Like, what was the last game where he did that? I think it was the FA Cup, I believe, where he had like 4 or 5 goals or something like that.
Yeah,
against Luton Town. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just another monstrous performance. And to talk about what critics say of Haaland, like this is the second year where we've had a proper number 9 in our squad. Because previously, before Halon came into the squad, we were playing with a false 9, and we still were winning Premier League titles with that. You know what I mean? Like the false 9 and Aguero and dropping back and not really having a proper number 9. But Haaland has been our number 9. We finally got number 9. He had the year that he had last year, set the bar super high for himself. And those are the problems that come with number 9s. Like some games, there's no service to him, so he seems absent. You know what I mean? If he's not through ball service, he's just, he won't be there. But then you'll get these games where he scores 3-4 goals. So that just comes to the territory of having a number 9. But my God, what a number 9 that we have. And Haaland has already, smashed as many records as we have. And we're currently going towards a 4th back-to-back consecutive Premier League. But this race has never been tighter. So we could talk about the context of this game and the race. So what do you lads reckon? How do you think it will be, how the season and how the title will finish? So maybe Big Steve share some thoughts on that.
We just got to do what we do. Forget Arsenal. Forget everybody else. There's 3 games to go. Win them games. That is all that needs to happen. We've done it before. It's I was listening to the commentary yesterday on the playback of Jamie Carragher going, it doesn't feel like Manchester City are bothered. The fans don't seem up for it and all that. It's not a case of that. It's a case of we've been here before. What's the point in getting all overexcited and getting all, giddy because it doesn't end well? You know what I mean? Let Arsenal get giddy. Let them get excited. Let them do the dancing in the stands. We just go there, get behind the team, pick up the 3 points, move on to the next one. We don't have to be dancing in the stands. We'll be dancing in the stands in 3 weeks' time with a trophy. That's all we need to do.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't really have said it better. Will, what do you think about this race?
Oh man, Big Steve said it himself, man. That's why I'm such a big supporter, because there's no sugarcoating anything. That's why I respect you so much, Big Steve, because you say it how it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? It's perfectly said. Let Arsenal be the giddy. Let them have the nerves. Us, we've been here already. We've been here already more than once, more than twice. We've been at trouble times. You know what I mean? So it's fucking beautiful to see it. So yeah, I as long as we do what we do, we got this, bro. You know what I mean? We got this, and I want to see this quadruple. I want to see this, so I just can't wait. These last 2-3 games are gonna be like a final each one, so it's gonna be beautiful, dude. It's gonna be beautiful. I can't wait.
I mean, assuming that both teams win out, which I think they will, because I would, I don't want to come on here and say, "Oh, come on, United," you know what I mean, to have Arsenal drop, you know what I mean,
next week.
For next week. But I'm assuming right now that both teams win out, and the result that's really going to be focused. I mean, we all need to win out these games, but that Tottenham away game couldn't have been set up for just like the ultimate obstacle. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
you couldn't have written it. That Tottenham away has definitely been a thorn in our side for a long time. We finally broke that curse in the FA Cup, but we've still yet to do it in the Premier League. So, Big Steve, what are your thoughts about the Tottenham game?
Yeah, I'm relaxed by it. We haven't had the best record there. We've been there with some great teams and just not done it. But I think the FA Cup has helped. We got over the line. I just think we're different. I've just watched Tottenham play Liverpool, and first half they were poor. Second half, late on, they came on strong. But I just feel like we're better than Tottenham. I think we're the best team in the league. I think we know how to get it done. I think we've just got to go there, relax. We don't have to force it. I think there's going to be a couple of scary moments in the next few games where maybe it's not gone to plan, but we've been there before. You know what I mean? We've been 2-0 down Aston Villa. We won 3-2. We've had the Aguero moment. We've experienced these times. Last year, 2 years ago, West Ham away, 2-0 down at half time. We come back 2-2, and then we go and win the league the next game when we're 2-0 down again. So we don't need to panic. And Arsenal fans, very fragile fan base. It's all for the camera. It's all about what's this and this, that, and the other. But deep down, inside, they're burning because they know that they let it slip. The Aston Villa game, they let it slip, and they let Manchester City put the foot in the door. And you know what happens when you put Manchester City in your house? They're smashing the gaff up, and that's what's happening.
Yeah. So, Big Steve, a little bit of background for our podcast. I have a twin brother who is a Spurs fan, and he's a regular contributor to our show. And I've been talking with him and another good friend of ours, Greg Linton. And I'm talking to Spurs fans, and they're like, all right, let's wrap up top four football, put our under 19s out there, because they understand the assignment, because, like, what's worse than seeing Arsenal win the league for them? So, just it's fun to just talk about alternatives and behind the scenes stuff. But I mean, I can't say anything better than what you just said now. It's just every game is a cup final. You know what I mean? Don't worry about what the other teams are saying or doing. Just focus on winning these next 3 games. And hopefully that there'll be a 4th consecutive title at the end of it. But so we have Big Steve here on the podcast, and I'm sure most of us are familiar with him, but we'll take it from someone for some of our supporters, U.S. supporters that aren't unfamiliar with your work. So introduce Steve, or introduce yourself to someone that doesn't know you, or just is an intro City fan, and your fan bio, and just what you do, what your work is.
So, well, I'm just basically a fan. I've been a season ticket holder since 1989 at Main Road. So I go home, away, Europe, everywhere. A few years ago, I found myself getting thrown into a bit of YouTube. It's not my profession. I just basically was listening to some Arsenal fans outside Wembley disrespecting the club. So I sort of said my what I needed to say. The guy gave me the mic, and it went from there. And then they all of a sudden started saying to me, "Look, you need to speak on City, because City didn't really have a voice online. Really anyone that wasn't scared to upset people. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit. So I just went, you know what? And it spiraled from there. And I did the Lad Bible thing with Robbie from Arsenal TV, where you move the glass. And they basically, I just was talking about the passion of Manchester City and what the club means, and that people don't get where we've come from. They don't get the camaraderie. They don't get Main Road, and especially they didn't get the fact that when this football club was on its arse, when this football club was on the verge of collapse, the supporters all rallied round, and we came together, and we went week in, week out, 30,000 in Division 2. And that's not a fairy tale. That's not bullshit. That's real life. And I'll be lying if there was times when I could have had better things to do than go and watch the team that were playing, because they were terrible. But we just thought, you know what? This team, can't get any lower than where it got. And we've been through thick and thin. So let's enjoy it. And the humour of the Manchester City supporters, I've never seen anything like it. You know what I mean? 1 minute you come out the stadium and you're never going back again, and it's the last game you're ever going to. Then when the coach drops you off back at home, you get off the coach and say, I'll see you next week, lads. And then you'll be back next week for some more punishment. But we stuck with it, and we got promoted at Gillingham 99, and we carried on. And Blackburn the season after, we invaded the pitch, 30-odd thousand, Ewood Park. You go on YouTube, watch the videos. And we were back, and we got relegated again. And like you say, I've just been fighting the club's cause. There's no bullshit. There's no agendas with me. I love the club, and I love the fans, and the love I get from the supporters, especially at City home and away. They come up to me, Steve, keep fighting the cause. We appreciate it. And that's what keeps me going, you know what I mean? And I do it for them. The day that the Man City supporters say, come on, Steve, you're getting a bit boring now. We're sick of seeing your face. I just go back to being a fan home and away. But for now, I'm enjoying it. I'm sticking up for the club. I won't let anyone talk bad about the club, but I like to think I'm fair. You know what I mean? I don't go online and troll. I can troll Man United every week if I want, because they give me that much ammo. I don't do that. I try and be fair. You know what I mean? I try and be fair. People respect me as a fan. I go home and away. I don't get nothing from the club for free. I pay for it myself, home, away, kits, everything. Don't get anything. That's one condition. When I work for the club, I say, look, pay me for my time. That's it. Pay me for my time. And I do a lot for the foreign supporters as well. People that can't get tickets. I've met people. I've gone out of my way, got on tickets. I've done things you don't see, but that's just normal to me as a City fan. That's what we should do. We should all help each other, whether you're from Mars. It doesn't matter to me. If you're a City fan and you love the club, then you're welcome. if you're a City fan or you're somebody that we had a bit of a recent thing with an American girl at the minute. I don't know if you've seen it online on Twitter. There's a girl that caused a bit of trouble and things had happened. And anyway, I'm not getting involved in it. But people like that, you know, things like that can take a bad turn. But, you know, we're a great fan base. We're a great club. And don't get me wrong, if the club do anything wrong, I'm the first one to call it out. You know, if they get the ticket allocations wrong, I'll say it. If they don't do something right, I'll say it, because I'm a fan at the end of the day, and my loyalties lie with the fans. You know what I mean? They come to me at home games, say, Steve, did you see this? Or this hasn't happened, or this happened. What do you think about this? And I try and relate back to the club so we don't have any issues. And I feel like the club listens. I feel like it's got a job to do now. It's got massive. So I feel like for us being at Main Road, you've got to understand how it's changed. It's not like we used to call Manchester United for being a global club and having lots of foreign fans there and this, because we used to see that as a bit like, I don't know, sorry to use the American Disneyland. We used to see it as a bit like, not football, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, when you win trophies, you attract people want to come and watch it. They want to watch Erling Haaland. They want to come over and see. You can't stop that. But what we're trying to do here in Manchester is we've got to get the balance right. You can't forget about your roots. You can't forget about the heart of the club, because the heart of the club is what saved it. So we're trying to make sure that the club don't just take us for granted as supporters. You know, they've got to realise that, you know, if you're doing a kit launch in Tokyo, what about Manchester? Because the kids are off in Manchester, they're waiting for the kit launch here. You can't just take them for granted. So we're going through it ourselves, you know. There's no nastiness there. I feel like the club's evolving massively, and I feel like it's a big change for they call them legacy fans now. It's a bit of a mad one, but there's a big change for the legacy fans. There's a lot of change for the global fans coming to support the club. But I just feel that my job is just to keep going to the games, doing what I'm doing. If I can help with a club, I'll always help. If I help with the fans, I'll always help the fans. And I just, you know, if they want to have a go at me online, no problem. I'm here for it. But they can't say this City fan just jumped on the bandwagon. This is what they don't like, because I've been there from the pits of hell where it was just not even enjoyable to now. So I've been from Barnsley to the Bernabeu. Do you know what I mean? I've watched my team in the second tier to the treble, and there's not many football fans about. And I've spent thousands of pounds. I've lost relationships. I've lost money. I was engaged at one point. All gone down the drain because the love for Manchester City was more than anything that I thought about. And people can say it's sad, but you know, I've come out the other side of it and I've enjoyed it. And then a lot of the fans say, oh, what are you going to do if you get relegated? No problem. No problem at all. Do exactly what we do every week. Turn up, get behind the team, win, lose or draw. We're Manchester City FC. So that's me. I'm a fan first and foremost. I have done a few shows. I pick and choose what I do. I don't do anything I feel like he's a bit, you know, cringy and like they just want to take the piss out of City. I don't need to do that. I have been on some big platforms. I have defended the club when they probably want me to back down. But I'm just me. I'm a normal guy. I'll do anything for anyone. I'm a City fan. I love the club and I love doing things like this. And this is me. And I'm here now.
Oh, and I agree, bro, because I follow you, and since I followed you, it's very entertaining. And like I said, you get straight to the point. You know what I mean? You let it know what it is. So to see, there was that moment I saw. Oh man, what a beautiful moment when I saw you at the what was it? The World Cup final?
The World Club Cup.
The Club World Cup. Yeah, and you were going off, seeing the fireworks and the stadium and everything. I was like, man, this guy is living my dream, bro. You know?
Do you know, Saudi Arabia, the fans were so refreshing. They were so humble. There was in England, you know, there's a lot of it's so easy to say, oh, you won it with money, or you did it with this, or you've cheated and you've done it with that. Over there, they were like, they just appreciated the football team. They appreciated that you'd come to Saudi Arabia the week before Christmas, and we got them involved. You know, we got them involved. We were singing and chanting. And you know what? I'll be dead honest with you. we had the best time of our life in Saudi Arabia. It was so refreshing to go and watch football and come out the game and sit. We were sitting in restaurants with 20, 30 guys who supported Arsenal, Chelsea, and we were talking football for 4 or 5 hours. We were getting lifts all over of people who didn't want nothing from us. They just wanted to talk football, and it opened my eyes to the bigger picture. And a few of the guys that came to Saudi, they've always drank alcohol at football, and they didn't drink alcohol for a week. And a few of them have stopped now because they realised that they could enjoy football without doing that. And Saudi Arabia was refreshing, and I'm hoping to come to New York for the game against AC Milan.
So, nice.
I'm hoping to come to New York and meet the American guys. I get a lot of people from America. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But no, we've lived the dream, mate. I mean, if you'd have asked me in 1999 when United won the treble and we'd just been promoted, would Manchester City would go and win the treble, then you'd be in Saudi Arabia. I just wouldn't have believed. I just would have thought he was crazy, man. I would have thought he was crazy.
You're on Netflix, brother. You're on fucking Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
How insane is that? You know what I mean? It's insane. It's just, that's why I'm saying, like, I was very excited about this interview today because, like I said, you let it know how it is, you know? So and then I see your clips, you know, having debates. I see your YouTube where you're having interesting conversations with city legends like Les Scott and Gail Clichy. Like it's awesome to be here to talk to you, brother. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And I mean, Big Steve, you answered a lot of my questions that were on the agenda. I mean, you talked about fans and the relationships between local and international fans. You talked about some of your past experiences from this last year. I do want to talk a little bit though, because I mean, we're American fans and we watch the games on TV, and we do see, and on our page we do see the distinction between locals versus tourists a lot. And I would say that the majority of the local fans we have, because we have a lot of local fans on our page, and but every now you get a fan turning up and just saying the most egregious anti-American thing on our page. And, you know, just like, we ignore it obviously, because we're not going to be deterred. We're not going to engage with that stuff. But, you know, like, I mean, like, it makes a lot. It's really important. It's just we're so thankful for you having on the show, because, you know, a lot of people respect you, and for you know, and you're saying things like respect all kinds of fans, the veteran, from newer fans, you know what I mean, to legacy fans.
Do you know these foreign fans that give people a bad name, right? We've had a problem where they're coming in the South Stand, whatever. They're wearing Real Madrid shirts when they claim to be City fans, or they'll wear 2 shirts. Yeah, they'll wear they have iPads. They film in the game. That rubs people up the wrong way. I always say to people, if you want to do that at the Etihad, go to the family stand. Go somewhere where you can sit out the way. If you want to film the game, it's fine. But when you're in with the locals and football's life, and we've got an important game and we need to get behind the team. If it's not going well, people are looking for an excuse or something to be angry about. So people are going to get abused. Don't get me wrong. I've seen guys come in the South Stand from America and from anywhere who are absolutely crazy about Man City. They're singing songs. They're getting involved. They're no problem. That is what we want. If you know, and I've seen people message me from America getting up at 2, 3 a.m. They love the club and all that. Love that. We love that. Don't let a few dickheads online try and spoil it by coming on your page and saying, oh, you're not this and you're not that. It's not about that. What we're trying to do is, it's new to a lot of Manchester City supporters. You've got to understand it is new, because we was never that club. We've just got to find a way where the club has a nice balance. You know what I mean? It has a nice balance, and it's doing a bit for the Mancunian lads and a bit for the foreign guys, and we're all mixing together. And you know, people always try and create rivalry and oh, you don't like foreign fans. I've said things before, and then you go, you don't like foreign fans, you don't do this. And it's just pathetic, really. You know what I mean? But if you're doing your bit and you love the club and you're supporting Man City and you're doing what you do, that's great. It's the people that are detrimental to Manchester City that I've seen people come with different agendas and different shirts and do different podcasts and pretend to be City fans and then end up, it's all that nonsense that rubbishes it. But you guys are here doing your podcast every week. You're trying to get to know the club. You're trying to get to know the history and that. It's not your fault you guys are thousands of miles away, but you're doing your part. This is what I'm saying. You're representing Manchester City in America. You're spreading the gospel out there. And this is what the Saudis were doing. We went to Saudi Arabia. There were City fans there. They knew more about the club than me. They were only 10, 15 years old. It was so refreshing to see. And I just feel it's about education. I feel like a lot of the old school City fans are very, very stuck in their ways. And eventually they'll come round. They're like an old bear and, eventually they'll get softer and, but it is what it is. There's no real animosity there. Everyone's welcoming at the Etihad. They do loads for the people now coming in from abroad and that. You come into the pub and everyone's so welcome. I've met people from all over the world. I had a guy fly from New York to London. He met me in London and then he watched his City Arsenal game. He came out of the stadium, went back and got a flight and went straight to back to New York. Now, that is some serious dedication, you know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. The last time I went to, the first and the only time I've been to, I've been to 2 City games. In the same week, I was in England for 3 weeks, and I went up to Manchester for about a week. I saw a Champions League game on a Tuesday night versus Atalanta. Aguero and Sterling had a brace, and Phil Foden, a 18-year-old Phil Foden got sent off. And then on the Saturday, I went to Aston Villa, and then everyone scored. Gundo scored, Silva scored, Aguero scored, and then Fernandinho was sent off. So in the 2 games I've been to a City game, a player has been sent off. So I'm hoping that if I go back, it'll be another win, but someone will get sent off. Steve, you've been a season ticket holder since 1989, and I love a good story. So what's your favorite memory of the main road and that time? You know what I mean? What if you had to regale us with the story?
See, Main Road was it's totally different to the Etihad. It's an old school stadium, Middle Moss side. It's not the best area. It used to have a smell. You get out of the car and you could smell the hot dogs cooking. You could see the Kippax so tall above the row of houses. We were teenagers as well around Main Road when it was getting a bit crazy and that, you're getting into the football hooliganism and going with the older boys and loads of trouble and that. But it was mad. But the memories at Main Road, probably the last derby at Main Road when we won 3-1, Sean Golter was good for it. Stood out because it was the last derby, and Man United were massive. They were bigger than us. We'd never won for years. That was a great standout moment. I remember Niall Quinn. We played Derby County there once. Niall Quinn scored for City, and then the goalkeeper got sent off, and he had to go in net, and then he saved a penalty from Dean Saunders. That was mad as a kid watching our star striker go in net, save a penalty. Remember the game against Newcastle 3-3. Kevin Keegan came. Newcastle's very entertaining. Faustino Espria and all that 3-all. I remember nearly beating United a couple of times. We 2-0 up at half-time, 3-3, then got beat a couple of times. But we had the promotion when we beat Birmingham 1-0. We needed to go to Blackburn the week after. We all invaded the pitch a bit early and got a bit excited. Relegations, got relegated there. Chelsea, everybody invaded the pitch. Tottenham in the cup years ago, a lot of trouble on the pitch. So there's loads of memories, but we wasn't that football club then. We wasn't what we've seen now at the Etihad and that. It was just, I think, just Main Road and the smell. I used to smell the deep heat spray. At the beginning of the game, you go to the front as a kid and you'd be getting autographs and you could smell the spray. You could smell the grass. And yeah, I remember Peter Swales was chairman. We needed to get him out. People were rioting outside the stadium. They were trying to get him out because the club was ruined. And then we ended up getting Franny Lee in, who was no real better than Swales. And So there was all sorts of stuff going on. A lot of my childhood was spent around Main Road. But the memories are all Etihad based now. You know what I mean? I think we're creating the better history at the Etihad. I feel like the big moments are starting to happen at the Etihad, and I feel like Main Road, I'll always be thankful that I got to spend it there. I'll always be thankful for my dad, because what happened with me, yeah, I was a kid and my mum, he was driving my mum mad, and I knew there was two teams in Manchester, Man City, Man United, but I was only very, very young, so I didn't understand it. And I remember my mum saying to my dad, you need to take him to the match or I'm going to buy him a Man United kit. So on the Wednesday, I remember coming home from school and my dad saying, it might have been a Wednesday or Tuesday, saying, get ready, you're going to the match with your dad. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, you're going to the match with your dad, City. And it was Man City v Brentford in the Rumbelows Cup. And I remember everything about it. Driving to the ground, I remember seeing the crowds and that. And I remember going in, and I know it's a cliche when you see the picture for the first time and everyone tells you like, oh, the lights and that. But I remember being a bit amazed by it. And then I remember like everybody like knowing the players' names. And I always remember thinking, how did I know the players' names? And my dad took me in the souvenir shop. Yeah, and the souvenir shop at Main Road, let me tell you, I had one way in, one way out. And it was about 12 feet by 10 feet. That was it. It was a cabin. And I remember my dad took me in. He bought me a scarf and a badge. And then I was hooked then. You know what I mean? I was hooked. I remember coming home with this scarf and I was thinking, I just felt a part of something. And then he kept taking me. And then years down the line, I've had fallouts with my dad. You know, he said to me, like, you value football more than anything else. And I was like, well, you got me into this. You know what I mean? You took me there. And he's like, yeah, but I never expected you to be like this. And I was like, well, it's just like, it was like Manchester City touched my heart in a different way. You know, I was going when I was a teenager with all teenage problems, and you was with a big gang of lads from like 50-year-old to like 18-year-old, and you go in having a few beers, and it was just getting up to all sorts of trouble and that, but you felt you belonged to something, you know what I mean? And then every week you could look forward to getting on a train, going to another town, doing this, doing that. Football wasn't great, but the lads and going there representing Manchester City with the underdogs, you know, we're shit, but we don't care. We're coming week in, week out. We're taking over the towns and that. And that's how we was then, you know what I mean? But Main Road was special. And I feel sorry for a lot of the young ones who never experienced it. But I think we're creating bigger and better history now at the Etihad.
Sheesh.
Yeah. I mean, I always like hearing a good story and like hearing just that sense, because I mean I can speak, maybe it was Will and I, City has touched our hearts. We recognize that we are newer fans of this, you know, around 2008 2009. I actually shout out my older brother who actually got into City first, and then I got into City. And you know, I been watching Premier League now for over 15 years, and I mean this club has given me so many of my favorite sporting memories. I mean, I remember where I was when I watched 93-20. I was sitting in my living room with my mom, who had a crush on Roberto Mancini, and and we were watching this, and it happened, and it was like, oh my god, you know what I mean? And just watching that happen, and it was like my senior year. It was my freshman year of college. So I had just graduated and just finishing my first year of college. So it's like in those formative times, seeing that, you know what I mean? And just like the culture around the club, you know, make no mistake, I'm a huge Oasis fan. So, you know, like that, the music, the culture around it just like hooked me in. And there's just so much deeper than just supporting a club. Cause like, I mean, I'm a fan of American sport teams, but like I don't feel the same way I do about Manchester City. You know what I mean? Like it's just like it connects on so many different levels.
When we was in school, yeah, there was that many United fans about. We were a small band of brothers. You know what I mean? We were local because our dads had supported City. We fought like mad for City. Georgie Kincladze was my favourite player as a kid, and he was signing autographs at the club shop one Friday. And I saved my dinner money up all week. I never had any dinner. And obviously, I'm a big lad, so I was hungry. Yeah, and I got a bus into Manchester, then got another bus into Moss Side, which is a dangerous place to go on your own. There's no mobile phones, I got there. I think I had £2 left or something. And they said, Cladsy's only signing things you can buy from the shop. And I was like, I had a poster or something to be signed. I was like, what am I going to do? £2. Anyway, they did a little postcard, £2. So if I bought this postcard, I've not got no bus fare. I can't get back home. I'm an hour and a half away from home. I bought the postcard. King Cladsy signed it. And then I had to pretend tears at the bus stop to get me back into Manchester as if I'd been robbed. I got back to Manchester, then did another Oscar-winning performance to get home. And then I walked in the front door, and my dad said, "You had a good day at school?" I went, "Yeah." He went, "Bang! You've not been in school. Where have you been?" Da, 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 da. And I tell you what, I've still got that postcard now. Yeah. But it's worth it. The slap, it was worth the slap, because I got to meet Georgie King Cladsy, my hero. And when we was in the playoffs, we had to queue outside Main Road for tickets overnight. And City actually opened a stand, and there were people in tents and all sorts outside. They were giving you coffee and that, because that's how much we needed to go to Wembley. And the old training ground at Main Road, Platt Lane, you could walk in. You could just walk in as a kid. I remember walking in there as a kid, Uwe Roslo running around the pitch. We're talking to him like he was just a normal guy. And that's just how Manchester City was at the time, you know what I mean? It wasn't like anything like this now. But, you know, like you guys said, I do feel like this club is unique, and I feel like when it gets a grip here, it's you can't shake it off. You can't shake it off.
No.
I've been a fan since the Pellegrini days, Mancini days, and a lot of my friends right here in the U.S. We're from Los Angeles, California. A lot of them are Real Madrid fans, United, Chelsea. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Big up the dedicated to the scene. Los Angeles as well. Terrace Cult, Los Angeles.
Hey,
Yes,
hold on, Steve. Are you an ambassador for Terrace Cult? Like, or do you own Terrace Cult? I don't know.
Between me and you, I own it.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Okay,
All right.
there you go. Awesome.
Big up. All right.
And
Sorry to cut off Will.
No. And a lot of my friends were like, "Dude, get a load of this guy. He's a City fan." And I'm just like, "Yeah, you know." And when I saw the title with Sergio Agüero and everything, it like you said, it's just something about that fucking moment that hit me, that I was like, "This is my club. Like these are the guys that I'm gonna follow." And I wasn't really that big into watching soccer. I didn't know that there was leagues and there's Champions Leagues and all kinds of stuff. All I knew is that English football was for me, you know. And as I kept following, you know, and being to where we are now, man, I stand up so fucking hard for this goddamn club. When people are like now, like you say, we run into fans and they're like plastic fans. Oh, you guys just barely got in since Erling Haaland. That's when you guys came in. It's so fucking offensive. You know what I mean? I'm like
jealousy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And in my head, I'm like, brother, if you only knew, man. I remember a friend of mine. He's a Galaxy fan right here in Los Angeles, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go see a friendly. You want to come with?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, let's go." And fucking Manchester City's playing against Galaxy. I didn't even know, and I showed up, and I was like, "Oh my god, this was heaven sent. This was God sent." You know what I mean? And then another fucking moment was I had some beats, and I lent them to a friend, and they robbed his car. They broke into his car and they stole all my shit, you know, that I lent him. And he's like, "Hey man, I'm sorry that I lost your expensive headphones and everything." And I go, "Hey, you know what? You want to make it even? Man City's playing Real Madrid next month. If you buy me those tickets, we'll fucking call it even." Oh, he got me those tickets, and I saw Real Madrid. I saw Man City beat Real Madrid 5-1, and Alex was there, and we didn't even know each other then. So it was like, it's just crazy the way that now we have a podcast together and we get to share the love for this fucking club, you know. And right now we're over the moon of the success that we've been through, you know what I mean? So it's just it's insane the way that things work out, you know, and how we are here talking to fucking Big Steve now. Insane.
Last season, I went on the overlap, and people take the piss. Yeah, they asked me how do you feel in a title run, and I said it makes me ill, and they were like, "Oh, he thinks he's part of the team and all that." But when you go to every single game, last year 61 matches out of 63. Went to Saudi Arabia. I went to Germany. I went to, every game. And, you're on flights, you're on trains, you're on shows, you're defending the club. It was draining. And then towards the end of the year, it catches up with you a little bit. And that wasn't me saying, I'm a player. I'm not a player. I don't. But when you're putting that level of commitment in, and you're not seeing the family more than you should do, and you've got children and stuff, and work commitments, but you're trying to work around it, and that it gets a bit stressful and that. But it was so worth it. Like the Istanbul, the Man United game. There was a lot of pressure because if they beat us, they stopped the treble, and we never would have heard the end of it. So when we beat United at Wembley, and then we didn't really have time to enjoy it because it was like, right, flight to Istanbul. And when we was out there in Istanbul, for me, it was the best time I've ever had in my life because I saw so many people I'd seen over the years, familiar faces from Division 2 and everything. And I thought, my actual thought was the night before the game, I thought, this is fucking happening. I thought the army is at the gates. And when I'm talking thousands, right? All over the city, hanging out of windows, taxis, everything. It was like, and I thought, there's nothing stopping us. In Porto, we wasn't ready. As a fan base, as a club, we wasn't ready. We were caught in the headlights. But Inter Milan, we was ready, yeah. There's no way he was beating us, no way. And we done it. And everyone was like, oh, did you cry? Did you do this? And I said, it was just a matter of like a relief. Like I just sucking it all inside my soul. People hugging me, Steve, we've done it and all that. And that just meant everything to me. And then when I got back to the hotel, I lay on the bed and I thought about a few people that had passed away that year, people that I wished I could have shared it with. And I lay there and I thought, you know what a fucking journey this has been. All them people that said to me, you're fucking mental supporting that football club. You're mental. And I thought, nah, I'm not mental. My granddad used to say to me, one day we'll win the Champions League. And I used to say, you think so? And he'd go, one day we'll win the Champions League. And he passed away, and he used to always sing that song, The Impossible Dream. So when I got back from Istanbul, I got the Champions League tattooed on my leg, and I could put The Impossible Dream. Nice. And I bought a Champions League trophy, a replica, cost me 2,000 quid. A replica, it's unbelievable. It's exactly the same.
Wow.
I took it straight to his grave. I put it on his grave, blue and white ribbons on it, and we took the picture, and I said to him, you was right, we've done it. We've fucking done it. And I tell you what, my life was complete then. So there's nowhere you can take me now with this football club, high or low, where we haven't been before. So, all these people that are bitter and jealous and all that, let them be, because we've seen things that they'll never see. And these fans out there now supporting teams who are having a meltdown because the team is 7th or 6th in the league. You imagine being relegated and having to go to Stockport County and them telling you you're not famous anymore, or coming outside of Stoke and you've got no windows left in your coach. You've got to drive back to Manchester and you've been relegated. And, all these things that we've experienced as fans, this fan base. And, they'll never, ever get it. And that's what I say. They'll never get it. And you're a part of it. You're doing your business in America. You keep doing your podcast. Full respect to you. Keep living, keep learning, keep getting involved. Just keep spreading the word and just be ambassadors for the club. Just represent the club hard out there. Get your kids to be City fans, your grandkids to be City fans, your fucking next door neighbour who doesn't really like football, get him to be a City fan. And that's all we got to do, man. Keep spreading the word.
I mean, shit. Man, we need to clip that.
Clip it. But I mean, that's just a great point to move into, talk about City's future. So we have 3 games left in the Premier League, but maybe speculate about the summer window a little bit and what lies there, because we've already made some moves and there's some great moves, and then maybe some prospective moves. So, Big Steve, what's your thoughts about this coming summer window?
Yeah, I mean, I think people were last season after the treble. I think people were worried. We got rid of Riyad, Gundogan, Laporte, etc. I think people were starting to panic. They brought Doku and Kovacic and Guardiola, etc. in. look where we are. You know what I mean? Look what we're doing. We're doing it. And this is full credit to the club and to Pep Guardiola that every year he seems to lose a few key players, but we keep on rotating and we keep on bringing them through, and the levels that we perform into don't drop too much. I think this season coming, we already Savio's going to come pre-season, Yankuto maybe, and then this talk of Kimmich, this talk of Musiala, this talk of Guimaraes, Paqueta. I think one good thing with Manchester City fans, we can relax because we know that the club's in good hands, and we know that the due diligence has already been done on the players. And, you know, before we even hear about it, bang, it might just come out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. I expect Bernardo Silva to finally leave. I feel like, you know, he's been very, very loyal and he's been very good at what he's done. But I feel like he may go. And, you know, I think we're due a freshen up. Kevin De Bruyne, world class, love him to stay. But you've got the Saudi Arabian situation knocking on the door. If Saudi Arabia knock on the door and offer you 120, 130 million pound in today's market with FFP for a player that's 33 years old, you know, we love Kevin De Bruyne, but you're going to have to use your business head takes over a little bit. You know, Liverpool's going to have the same situation with Mo Salah. You know, they're going to offer big money. But I'm relaxed by it. Let's just get the 4-peat done. Get the FA Cup won against them, and just take a step back and get the squad freshened up and let's go again. Let's do it 5. Let's win it 5.
Hell yeah.
5.
Hell yeah.
So, I remember something that was said. I heard a clip. I believe it was Jamie Carragher who made this comment that Phil Foden is going to be the rock for which this team is going to be built on. Do you agree with that, Steve? Like, who moving forward? How important will Phil Foden be?
Listen, Phil's unbelievable, and many years ago they were saying, "Oh, Foden's going to be on the bench." Look at Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho's gone to Dortmund. He's playing for England. He's got his move to Man United. Phil Foden, this. What you got to understand is Phil Foden was kept at Manchester City for a reason. He was kept at Manchester City to learn off David Silva, Yaya Toure, Kevin De Bruyne. If you're training every day with them players, you pick up an elite mentality. You pick up an elite level. You're seeing how they behave. You're seeing how they do it every day. And then it rubs off on you. If we send Phil Foden out on loan at 17 years old to a club that disciplines up the wall, the changing room's got a few crazy guys in it, he could come back a different player. You can ruin your own. It's like having a diamond, isn't it? You ain't going to borrow it to your mate for a year and expect to get it back in the same condition. You know what I mean? So what City did was they kept him in. Phil Foden trusted it. Look at him now. He's world class. He's scoring big goals in big games, hat-tricks against Man United. He's goals in the Bernabeu. But the most important thing Phil Foden brings as well is that he shows a clear path from the academy all the way to the first team. So any kids in this academy can look and say, Phil Foden did it by being patient and by learning. And this is how you get to the Man City first team. And I feel that has stopped many a youngster now maybe jumping ship thinking, oh, I'll move to another club because I can play. I think they're thinking, hold on a minute. If I'm a bit more patient and I learn, I can get to where Phil's getting. So I feel he's so important. I feel like he's there to take over the mantle from De Bruyne. And I just feel like he's getting better. And I think this season was the one he needed to stand out with Kevin being injured. And he's done it. He's done it.
I mean, Phil Foden, I feel like at times it's in the times that when Haaland has been injured or has been absent, he's been like our striker. You know what I mean? Like he's the one scoring the goals, brace, hat tricks. You know what I mean? Like this guy is just unbelievable, and what the performance he's put on has been one of the best seasons. He's in my opinion, he's the best player in Europe. You know what I mean? Like it's unfortunate that we fell out of the Champions League despite being the better team and being the best team in Europe, but that's how that competition works. But it's still my opinion that Phil Foden is one of the best players in Europe.
Consistency, baby. Consistency.
The academy is the academy is working so well. 400, 350 million in the last 6-7 years in players. We've got add-ons, 20% buyout clause. We've got all these things in place with players. And what City do is they don't keep hold of a crop of youngsters too long. They sit down, they evaluate it and say, right, are they going to be good enough to get to the first team? Now, you've got to realise that you've got to be something fucking special to get in this first team. Special, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So if they're not quite good enough, what's the point in keeping them back playing under 23 football? Why not get rid of them on a loan, on a permanent deal, but put a sell-on clause just in case one slips through the net? We've had Morgan Rogers go to Villa. We got money off him. Pedro Porro, money off him. We've got
Cole Palmer.
I don't know if we've got good money for Cole. Don't get me wrong, it's good, but we've got like Tommy Doyle's just gone to Wolves, 50% sell-on clause.
Yeah.
Douglas Luiz. So there's all these players we know who are household names. Romeo Lavia, but we've always made money on them. You know what I mean? We've always made money on them, and this is what people don't give credit for. Oh, Man City, you spend all your money and you win the Premier League. That's bullshit. It's bullshit because Chelsea spend more than us. Arsenal are spending. Liverpool spending. The thing is, we spend our money well. It's money well spent. We don't just throw money at it. We think about it. The academy is now working. The academy is one of the best in the country. It's working, and there's a lot more Phil Fodens knocking about in that academy. And I'm 100% certain in the next couple of years you're going to see a lot more players coming through.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a great point to make, and with our academy, and the academy is also going to be important with the new FFP rule. It's going to come into place in 2025. I believe it's like you cannot spend 5 times the lowest net spend in the league. So our academy, it seems like academy players is going to be definitely important for the team, and we have the best academy. So I mean, we'll be good. You know what I mean? And the way that City does its business just shows how well run this club is. And, I love Cal, Cheeky, Ferran Soriano. Like, those guys just have great business brains. You know what I mean? They're great businessmen. And, yeah, I mean, all those salient points. So before before we sign off, though, Steve, we want to preview City Fulham with you. So the next match is City Fulham this coming Saturday. So typically what we do is we preview the match and give a starting 11 prediction and then a score prediction. So what do you reckon for this Fulham game? What's your mentality coming into this game?
It's always a tough place to go. Craven Cottage, very small, intimate ground. Last season was tough there. We won 2-1. I think Alvarez with a great goal. But I think the result against Wolves, the fact that he managed to take a few players off, rest them, looks like we've got a fully fit squad. We just got to go and get the 3 points. Doesn't matter for 1-0, 2-0, whatever. Go there, relax, grow into the game, keep the ball, do what Manchester City do, frustrate the life out of them and slowly wear them down and get the result. It's all about the result now. Doesn't even have performance. It's 3 games, 3 wins, brings you the title.
What do you think, Will, about this Fulham match?
For this one, I believe it's going to be maybe a Doku starting. We might see, Erling Haaland, Phil Foden. Give me my favorite 4. Give me Gavardiol. Give me Ruben. Maybe John Stones and Kyle Walker, and give me Rodri in the front. I'm calling this one, a 3-1. 3-1. Hollywood Cape. Yeah, Hollywood Kippax safe bet.
I think Nathan Ake got a knock.
Oh, he did?
I think he got a little knock, but I think Ruben Diaz has been rested last couple of games. So
yeah,
I'd probably say Guardiola left back is going to be. I'd probably say Ruben, and maybe he might. I don't know. He might give Akanji a rest, but saying that Akanji's been brilliant, so it could be Akanji or Stones. Right back would probably be Walker. It'd be Rodri in the middle with De Bruyne, maybe Foden again. And like you say, Doku could get minutes. Grealish could get minutes.
Yeah.
Haaland's got to start. I feel like once he's getting him in his rhythm, you've got to keep him up there. You can't keep changing him now. And I feel like you've got Alvarez, etc., on the bench ready to come on and do the damage late if we need to.
Yeah. I agree.
I'm going to say a 3-0 prediction. You want to give us a prediction, Steve?
I'm going to go 2-0. I'm going to think it'd
2-0.
be a nice, efficient performance, 2-0, and then it's all eyes on Spurs.
For sure. So Steve 2-0. Will Hollywood Kippax safe bet 3-1,
3-1.
and then I'm going to go with the 3-0. So just a few podcast updates. If for those who are watching, we're Hollywood Kippax. We're the Los Angeles-based Manchester City podcast. We are the #1 United States Manchester City podcast on Instagram. You might have seen our edits, memes, podcast clips from there. We encourage you to follow us on Instagram. And then also subscribe to us on YouTube because we're on the road to 1K. So we're trying to get to 1K subscribers and access the features on YouTube there. So if you haven't subscribed or followed us on either or both of those pages, do so and support us. And also by subscribing to us on YouTube, you enter our kit giveaway. We've been doing that throughout the season, and we'll be continuing doing that for next season, looking ahead to next season. So yeah, I mean, we've been making a lot of progress on this page. We are close to 2K followers on Instagram, and we are just over 300 subscribers on YouTube and counting. And this page has been growing. We started it last season, and it's to where it is now. And it's interesting because I just started watching the Treble documentary. I haven't been able to watch it, but now I am. And
nice.
And it gives me memories of where we were in the podcast last year, like just at certain moments and certain podcast episodes and whatnot. And as much as I would like to have been there, I mean, I still have some memories of us doing our podcast and going out and, you know, watching the games and stuff and where I was and certain games that happened throughout the treble season. So, you know, but like, you know, this podcast is going strong, and we do see having you on, Big Steve, as an accomplishment for this podcast. You know what I mean? To have someone like yourself come on here and share their thoughts and give wonderful stories, wonderful insights. Couldn't have said it really any better ourselves. So, yeah. So, big up Terrace Colt. Big up the Big Steve Show on YouTube. Go follow him over there. Any final words, Steve, before we sign off?
Just thanks for having me on. Keep going. I know YouTube's hard work. I struggle myself getting time to do videos, so I respect everyone that's doing it. Just keep being yourselves, guys. You know what I mean? Don't listen to dickheads online. You get dickheads no matter in every walk of life. You know what I mean? You want to spend a day in my shoes and look at TikTok and Instagram messages and things like that. It's draining, man. It's draining. But that's just a society we live in. As long as all the Blues are together. But reach out to some of the guys like MCFC lads and Lewis and City Extra. If you need any of them guys to come on, private message me on DM on Insta. I'll line that up. I'm sure the guys will be interested to come on and chat with you and that. And just keep doing your thing, man. Keep doing your thing. Keep supporting the Blues. We're out there in America this summer, so we're looking to recruit some new Blues out there. So listen, get in touch with the club if they want. They're going to be out there. They're going to need friendly faces out there that have got good intentions. So drop them an email, just message them, let them know that you're out there if they need anything and if they need any help and that. And it's worth doing, man. It's worth doing.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're actually we're going to City versus Chelsea in Ohio in the summer, and we did apply for media passes. So we're trying to get linked up for that because I anticipate that being a wonderful experience with maybe get some City legends there, some Chelsea legends there, you know what I mean? And do it, you know, get some content for our podcast and also watch the game because we got great seats for it and we're super stoked for it. And so, yeah, you know what I mean? It's been a while since I've seen this club live. So, you know, we're looking forward to it. We're approaching an hour now. So, we're going to do our sign off. So this is our sign off, Steve. Sorry if it's cringe, but this is the Man City podcast your girlfriend tells you to not worry about. Yes. And this is the podcast that supports the best team in the land
and the best team in the world. Come on, City. Come on.
City. Come on, you know it's gonna be biblical, man. Cheers.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Big Steve, for having for being on our show.
Yes.
We'll have you on anytime. Cheers. Have a good night. See you later.
See you next week.